Hey, my wonderful, wonderful, beautiful people. A pleasant evening to everybody. So, beautiful people, I'm watching the news and uh, I don't even know. I'm not laughing. I really and truly am not. I probably have to kind of temper down my feeling because it will make you almost feel like you would want to become a vigilante because you're tired of the foolishness and things not being dealt with the correct way, in a comprehensive and right way. This country generally fails to hold people accountable across the board. This is something that happens in workplaces where we see abuse in different forms and people are not being dealt with accordingly. And in this particular case, a 1 year old and a 3 year old was stabbed to death, annihilated, gotten rid of by, allegedly, by their father because he was inebriated. He was drinking or smoking weed or something of the sort, meaning he would drink the marijuana drink or whatever it is, or he was smoking it. And I heard two neighbors, they said, boy, he was a wonderful guy. I don't understand. Something must have gone awry. Sometimes what people call wonderful is really pretense. I was talking with a friend recently, and people who we had as like exemplary people, when you hear factual evidence of what they do in secret, you would be so surprised because of the kind of persona that they portray in the public. And you think that they're sweet, they're not genuine. And when I look at them, one of the things, if you want to know who somebody is, just look in their eyes. The eyes are the windows of the soul. You look straight through the eyes. And sometimes there's a wild look, because when you find that they have this wild look, oftentimes there is something that's disingenuous that they're trying to hide. So them open up them eyes, or you see this the eyes are wild. It's disingenuous, it's fake, it's false, but they put on an outward exterior to give an impression to people that they're nice. Nice is stupidity. It's about being genuinely kind-hearted and being authentic, even if you're kind of miserable, even if you're kind of somewhat, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but you're your authentic you. And many people are not their authentic selves. Many of them are maniacs. They're sickos, psychotic sociopaths, psychopaths. Now, people may not believe me on this. When your emotional intelligence is very low and your intelligence quotient is low, your knowledge is low, and you have not been the kind of person to be held accountable, and you have not thought things through, you're like a wild boar, a wild beast, that when calamity strikes, when adversity strikes, you will act in accordance to a wild beast. You have to either be devil possessed, really, really and truly insane, or simply evil to annihilate a 1 year old, your own child, your flesh and blood, that your neighbor said you love dearly, and your 3 year old. Babies. They're still babies. They're still babies. The father. And when we say many of you men are, you need psychological help. Something is going on with many of you. And many of you are living fake lives, pretentious lives, You feel that people are attacking men as per usual, but it is not even so. The reality is, I even hear men saying a number of these men are not men, they're man too. Them not men. It's men I've heard even saying things like these. When we check the number of mental institutions, you check the ratio in terms of the two sexes, who you'll find in the loony bin more. You'll find far more men. There's no comparison. Then you think of killings. What do you want to talk about? Are we talking about the actual killings, the actual doing of it? Whether you want to say the woman is a mastermind in some cases, I'm talking about the actual, who does it more. Men, there's no comparison. I'm not saying that you don't have women, the Jezebel-like women. Oh, they exist, and I've seen them and experienced them in different places and spaces. Don't get me wrong. And I will do a video in light of those women. Don't get me wrong. But the point that I'm really and truly making is a number of you men are broken, broken badly. And you need divine intervention. And this is no joke. You need divine intervention. Because unless you are devil possessed or insane outside of those, you are simply evil. Because no matter what you go through, there is no possible way that a well thinking person, whether you're inebriated or not, would think of getting rid of their two babies, 1 year old and 3 year old. 1 year old and 3 year old. That's a curse you're trying to put on the land. Suffer not the little children to come unto me, forbid them not. Jesus said, unless you're like these little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. God says if you abuse any of them, it is better you put a millstone, some say milestone, around your neck and jump off into the sea. And the word of God says so. I'm just tired of how many of you men operate. You know, sometimes you're on the road and the way how I hear some of you speak to women, and you wonder why after a while, your karma is what it is. You wonder why some things that happen to you, men. You wonder. You forget you've forgotten completely how you've treated women. When I was growing up, a man, it was, they had to hide just talking to a woman hard. Now the man will tell you no ends of bad words, no. And when I say bad words, I'm not talking about what we deem and dub as bad words, horrible words I'm talking. Nowadays they have no qualms in doing that. No respect for women at all in the least. You know? And the two vulnerable groups, they're not having respect for children and women. And then they get up and start to cry like a baby. Oh, the women and the children aren't respecting them. You will often cry that God has made you the head and the leader. I didn't know that the student or the follower should be leading the leader. If you are the leader, why not lead? Why not lead in the area of respect so that the women can respect you then? If you feel that she's not respecting you, if you feel that children are not respecting you, lead in that area so that they can follow. So that they can actually follow. Because the only explanation for me now, is that the man is either possessed by the devil or demons, or he's 100% insane or close to 100% insane, and or I should say simply an evil man. And neighbors, please understand, it's not because they come off nice and sweet with their tone means that they're really nice people. It doesn't mean that they're really and truly nice people. People are great at pretending, because many of you do that anyway. Most people don't know the real people. I don't know how to pretend, but I don't know. It's one of the most difficult things for me to play a diplomatic role and to pretend when somebody. It's one of the when I find myself trying to do it for a day, I just become very quiet because I said no, this is not working out. So maybe it's teaching me how to be quiet, because Jesus embodied that. Instead of pretending, just be quiet. Not everything, every truth has to be spoken, because I really don't know how to do the pretend game. I really and truly don't know how to do it. But many of you men, you need psychiatric help, or psychological help. You need it, because there's no other explanation to me, and too many men have been given the lie. Oh, what a web we weave when we try to deceive. Guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those.